Hello and welcome to the Women's Marketing Club podcast. I'm Laura Blacklaws and I'm the co-founder of this new and unique concept here in the UK. Now, unfortunately, the weather is a little bit grey and gloomy outside, but I'm really looking forward to a bright and sunshiny podcast interview today with the wonderful Wendy Molefi, who I will be speaking to in a few seconds' time. But first, let me introduce her. Wendy is a highly experienced medical doctor with over 20 years' experience in practice. She started Vital Wellness Clinic in 2015 because she wanted to offer a service that encourages a more proactive approach to health, exploring physical and emotional concerns. Now, Wendy, that was a really brief snapshot of your experience and expertise. So would you like to tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself?
Thank you, Laura, for inviting me. I think you've really described succinctly what I'm all about. As you said, I set up Vital Wellness Clinic 3 years ago. And essentially for me, it was about setting up a service where I can offer a more rounded approach to health and well-being. Health and well-being is a passion for me. In fact, it's a vocation for me. So really, I wanted a service that encompasses the whole person, not just maybe a symptom or something that they come complaining about, really a mind and body approach to health and offering, health MOTs, coaching, if anything comes out of any health checks that I do, and coupling that with as I said, a mind and body approach, mindfulness teaching. So really a comprehensive service to health and encouraging and empowering my clients in terms of having a proactive approach to their health and lifestyles so that they live a better and healthier life.
I love that. And I think it's so important, isn't it? Because health nowadays isn't just how your body's feeling.
Absolutely.
It's, like you say, it's body, it's mind, it's mental health, how we're feeling.
Absolutely.
So no, I think it's great actually that you've found a niche where you can explore both and for clients to be open to it as well.
Absolutely. And it just seems to make sense. And I do have interestingly that you are running a service that is for women yourself. And I in my clinic, I have a special interest in women's health and in particular issues around the menopause, because I guess I'm of a certain age, so I can have that clear understanding. So it really is very important that our health is part and parcel of our whole well-being.
And I guess as well, the role of women has changed so dramatically over the years that now we're almost the lowest part of the priority list. We do everything for everyone else and our health suffers, our mindset suffers. So the fact that you're focusing more on women as well is a real positive and a positive change in the right direction.
So true, because like you're saying, we are always juggling, multitasking. It's something that we do without thinking, but often at, compromising our own health and well-being. And so more often than not, it really is about raising that awareness and bringing that to the fore for us to realize that as much as we can think or feel that we can do all these things, somehow right in the center of it, we need to put ourselves first so that we are in that better position to do all these things. There's nothing to say we can't do these things, but we need to kind of find that balance, the usual life and health and work, just finding that balance that we are not losing ourselves.
What would you say inspired you to set up Vital Wellness Clinic?
For me, it was more, I guess we've already touched on this, in that I am passionate about health and well-being and about people really taking the responsibility for their own health. So the inspiration was more about having that freedom to offer a service that is wholesome. In my one of my taglines on my website is that taking care of mind and body. So really having that ability and that autonomy to offer a service that can do both. And this really is underpinned by just that awareness that most of society's illnesses are born out of unhealthy lifestyle habits, we hear about in the news and in the media. So I wanted to create that service that looks at this whole picture to support people to achieve their health goals while living their lives.
Mm. And would you say that was born from your experience of working with the NHS? Because I guess you have specific guidelines that you have to meet and adhere to. And I can imagine it's quite stifling if you're maybe more of a wholesome approach kind of person. So did you think, okay, what's...
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, yeah, I have worked for the NHS, and it has limited resources that we understand. We know the NHS is great. There's lots of good doctors out there and health professionals in the NHS, but there's only so much sometimes that you can do with all those limited resources. So it was wanting to have that freedom and ability to offer those who can, and just really coming from educating and supporting and empowering, having the time, giving people the time, because more often than not, it's not going to happen in 5-10 minute appointments, is it? So it's about offering that time to be able to explore the whole picture.
What would you say has been the best thing about setting up your own business?
It has been really an interesting journey, and it continues to be very interesting. And for me, the best thing has been that autonomy, that independence, and also the flexibility for myself, because I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm juggling all these things myself. So having that flexibility to do a lot more on my own terms, in my own time, so I can, things like this, having the time to just set time aside to do things like this is for me has been one of the real pleasures of running my own business.
And that's something I'm hoping that our listeners to this podcast will really resonate with, is the freedom and the choice. And you can still set up a successful business and still have a career, but it works around you and your family life.
Absolutely. And that's, for me, is something that I treasure.
We know that setting up a business is fun. It has a lot of benefits, but are there any challenges that you'd like to share with our listeners that you've had to overcome?
Oh gosh, lots. Where do I start? Where do I start? I mean, there has been challenges. There continues to be challenges that I do embrace. I went into it with my eyes open. I mean, some of the things that I can mention is that at the clinic, I'm the only doctor. I run the clinic there. I do have somebody who helps me with reception and admin type stuff. But there's just that sense of being your own boss. You're on your own. Everything, relies on you. You have to plan holidays around your schedule, and juggling that sort of time management and also your schedule. That's one of the challenges when you're working on your own and for yourself. And one of the other, interesting challenges for me has been coming from a medical background. They don't teach you how to market and all these kind of businessy, techie type things in medical school. So it's been a steep learning curve, learning about, marketing, all these technical things. And it's been really interesting. But equally, I've just embraced it and acknowledged my own shortfalls. And what I don't know, I know there's certainly a woman or a man who knows that I can call upon. And I've learned very quickly also to take advantage of, available resources like all the Facebook groups that are out there. Oh my God, that's such an invaluable resource, and I've definitely tapped onto them in more ways than one. So for me, it has been that just that business element of business in terms of the marketing and the finances. So that's been a challenge that I continue to grapple with.
And it's technology as a whole, isn't it? Like you say, your specialist field is in health and well-being. I did a podcast recently with Rebecca Sessions from the Wheat Hampstead Physiotherapy Clinic, and she said exactly the same thing. Her niche is fixing people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all of a sudden having to learn Facebook and understand how to market on Facebook and setting up your own website and designing adverts. But again, she said you just embrace it and you learn.
Yes, absolutely. It's just about having an open mind and willing to fail and to learn. It's such a skill, and you can't go wrong.
And would you say that these Facebook groups that you belong to have helped your business to grow in ways that you weren't expecting? Or are there kind of other outlets and avenues that you use to grow your business?
Yes, I mean, some of them have been helpful in that, certainly making connections. There's always someone in the group who knows someone. But with regards to the business, the growth of the business itself, I found that as well as the Facebook groups, networking, going out there and meeting people so that people can put a face to the name it's essential. It's essential. People are only going to recommend somebody that they know about. So that's one thing for me. And also speaking. I enjoy speaking about health and well-being. My eyes just light up when I'm talking about anything health and well-being related. So I've been invited to many groups to speak about topical issues, and that also gets me out there and puts me in front of people who are my target market, as it were, mostly women's groups, but also just general groups where I can meet people and introduce myself, so that they can put the name to the face.
Wow. That's so inspiring, and the fact that you have the confidence as well to go out and speak to a room full of women, because a lot of us wouldn't have the guts to do that. It's something that we probably love to do, but it's imposter syndrome sometimes, isn't it? It's, oh no, I can't do that, I'm not good enough. So the fact that you're just going out there and doing it is amazing.
Yes. For me, I think I've had those kind of fears just like everybody else, but like you're saying, it's self-belief, about believing in yourself. And I certainly believe in my own abilities, my own credentials, that I feel if I'm being asked to speak about a specific topic, I am the expert, and I better believe that, because if I don't believe that, my audience are certainly not going to believe me. So it's about that, having that self-belief. And the fear will always be there. One of my favorite books actually is, you probably know it, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. Do you know that book?
Yes, yeah, I do.
Yeah, and many people. And so for me, having read that book many, many, many years ago, it was a revelation that, that fear will always be there, but just take action, just do it anyway. And for me, that's what spurs me on. That's what gets me in front of people. You feel the butterflies and just use it as a source of excitement. Just turn it around and to your own advantage.
Brilliant. Love that. Turn it around to your own advantage. That's such fantastic advice. Thank you. So you've just mentioned Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Are there any other books that you've read, or are there any influencers that you think our listeners today would really benefit from kind of tuning into?
There's so much out there in terms of personal development, professional development. It's just really about going out there and trying different things and just seeing what works for you. But right now, I guess I'm in that space where, I'm also a mindfulness teacher. So exploring, tools and life around that sort of space of being present. So one of the books that I've really enjoyed in the past as well is another book that you might very well know as well, called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's just such a transformational book, in that just amongst all these things that we're doing, all these things that we're juggling, not to forget to be in the moment, not to let life pass by without enjoying it. Because otherwise it's just not worth it doing anything if you're not going to pause and breathe and be. So it's one of those books, and that's where I'm coming from at this, I guess, at the moment.
And that's such an important thing to do, isn't it? Is to actually just be in the moment, just to stop, be still, look around, enjoy your surroundings, and just be thankful, be grateful even of what's around you.
Absolutely. And just, even just eating, sitting there eating your food, enjoying every bite and just tasting the food. And there's just so many benefits from that way of living and being. So many benefits that, if we were to go on that, we wouldn't stop talking. That is very important.
Oh, brilliant. We'll have to do another podcast where we kind of delve deeper into the specifics.
I would love that.
Oh, brilliant. No, we'll definitely put that one in the diary. So, ladies, if you're listening today, keep your ears peeled for that one. So you've given us some really fantastic books there that have helped you along your journey. Is there any advice that you've received that really helped you in developing the business, or is there anything that you've learned along the way that you think would be invaluable to our listeners?
Yes, so much to learn. As I said, for me, just delving into the business world was a steep learning curve, but certainly, when you're doing offering a specific service, you can feel that, only you know about it. So for me, it is about asking for help. If I don't know something, just there's somebody out there, as I said, who will know something, or who might know somebody who knows something. There's a whole world of connections out there. So it is about just using your resources, asking for help, and collaborating with other people. And a lot happens and a lot comes out of that.
Yeah, and that's something, I've learned over the years. I set up on my own 5 years ago, and it's probably only 18 months ago that I've started embracing this whole collaboration and asking for help, because for me, I just felt like I should know it all. And if I didn't know it all, then really I wasn't an expert in my field.
That's right.
But again, working on mindset, working on self-development, you realise actually how much more power there is in other people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And absolutely, you've said it all, really.
But that's the reason why I've set up the Women's Marketing Club, because we're so much stronger together. And just hearing people's stories and their journey, I think, is inspiring to other people wherever they are in their journey, whether they're just starting out for the very first time, or they've tried a few times and haven't quite found the business that's right for them, or they're still working, a full-time job.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. Without others, it's all very well being independent and trying to be self-sufficient. Without people, it's just that much more difficult. Why make life difficult when it's difficult already?
That's so true. Actually, I said that to my other half this morning. It's like, don't make life more difficult. It's hard enough as it is. Stop putting obstacles in the way.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Well, you've been such a fantastic help today on this podcast, and what you've been saying is truly inspiring. If our listeners wanted to get in touch with you, whether it was to find out more about you and your journey, or even to book a consultation with you at Vital Wellness Clinic, what's the best way to get in touch with you, Wendy?
Different ways. You can email me or at info@vitalwellnessclinic.com, or you can call the clinic number, which is 01727 226 911. As you said, I do offer consultations, especially around women's health, and I also run mindfulness courses. So I will be putting out dates on that as well in the foreseeable future. So yes, and I'm on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. So yeah,
you're out there.
I'm doing my best to get out there.
Oh, Wendy, that's been brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yes.
And hopefully our listeners will be in touch.
Thank you very much, Laura, for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
You're welcome. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.